Hey, we found the mangrove college. I'm guessing it's part of the Autumn Islands then. So we were actually really close to it before. The wise and the wicked seek sanctuary here, where the fruits are plenty and the woods wild. A steaming sprawl of parasynthetic vegetation, and a village, barely a village. Old walls, roofs in disrepair, stilts leaning dangerously. It looks to have been assembled by drunks in a hurry. Dock carefully. Okay, we can't do that because no submarine. Pick up a passenger. The Mangrove College is named for its scholars and philosophers. They have long abandoned civilized comforts for the life of the mind. Sometimes they want those civilized comforts back. Do we have hold? Yeah, okay, we can take a passenger. A checkered character. The principals. Port Cecil. Black and white and silver. Please take me there. Sooner, later, it doesn't matter. I know how complex the moves can be. So someone's as addicted to chess as we are. Okay, so to explore the Wispways, we need supplies and foxfire candles. Unpick the mysteries of other lands. This will convert these items to a secret. So 77 fragments and 7 memories of distant shores. Or 77 fragments and 7 Z stories. Oh yeah, we need to meet our contact. An enigmatic gentleman lives a comfortable life in the largest hut. He won't see you without an appointment, but the Admiralty has arranged that appointment. An island of civilization. Once inside the hut, you might imagine yourself back in London. Bright candlelight, thick carpets, a little spotted with damp, even wallpaper similarly spotted. 2 philosophers wait on you both, a little sulkily. The enigmatic gentleman will say nothing until you've both eaten dinner. A fine, if eclectic meal. Cavern trout, swamp fruit, spices from Adam's Way and Wither, served on Delft ware and at a lacquered Ming table. When you're done, he gives you a carefully itemized list of ship sightings, some excellent port, and a little something to take away. Remember me to the Admiral, he says fondly. Oh, we got mute salt from that. I wish we'd known that that was a thing, and I wouldn't have had to trade a bunch of Z stories for one. Yeah, we're going to compile a port report. Sages, scholars, philosophers, naturalists, poets, dreamers, here to pursue their rarefied ideals in a land of muddy fecundity. The thinkers at the Mangrove College continue their untroubled and sedentary existence. New schools of philosophy are born and die like bubbles. Extraordinary poetries are written in water. The occasional retired pirate tries, and fails, to get invited to salons. We also got supplies for getting that port report. So, for things that we can do just with, having time here, we can go beachcombing. Ships come and go to and from the Mangrove College, often in secret. What might they have flung overboard? We can gather supplies. You don't have time to stop and rest, but you can gather plenty of supplies. The college members will grumble, but there's enough to go around. Or eat, drink, be merry. The philosophers of the college are not hospitable, but this whole shoreline is bursting with fruit and edible fungus. Reach up and it falls into your hand. Pick it up and it's already fermented. Well, that might help with the terror. Because as for supplies, we have no hold capacity at this point. It is full. So we may as well try to reduce terror. An explosion of tastes, tart morsels and moral tart, the salty tang of seaweed stew, a crawling berry that the locals assure you is a motile plant, not an insect. Eat your fill and drink contemplatively. Yep, lost terror. Okay, so we need to head to Port Cecil at some point. We'll work our way up there eventually. I'm thinking Visage, because we're near it. And then Port Carnelian. Let's go with the Locust Mask again. I was enjoying that. Library of Parts. I have to try for that scroll. You know I have to try for that scroll. Steal the most valuable looking scroll for later sale. 70%. More and more gilt-edged scrolls, papyrus-bound with emerald-green silk bands. Poems of the traversal to the realm of the dead. Into your sack they go, leaving the scroll niches bare. Moonmoth does not see what you do. The carapace of your costume hides everything. And effectively, it just gained us 10 fragments and made us more aware of rolls, so nothing too insane, but I had to. Trading masks with the moon moth again. Visit the side of the face. I want to study the ancient marks. 36% chance. Love and labor costs. The pictures tell a story. This is the face of a woman, flourishing of years, who was once loved by one of the nobles inhabiting this island. But then she... what's this pictogram? Ascended? Bloomed? Flew away? And consumed with grief, he assembled those who carve great things from a stone. Great things from stone. And then remade the whole surface of the island. There are several more lines after that which narrate the cost of the labor contract for the workers and what was done with all the stone that was carried away and the compensation given to those who had formerly owned houses on what is now Face territory. Let's visit the Temple of Apis again. The wounded god. Yep, the bleeding bull. We're just going to observe and take notes because that's actually good for the moth. Leave a respectful token. And end performance. Again, we lose terror, but so far we're really only gaining fragments when we go. I'm going to keep poking it from time to time and see if we come across anything new. Yep, there's the pirate poet again. Hi. And rescued again. Yeah, it's a little bit random each time. It's usually 400 echoes, but we've also gotten 500. This time we only got 100. But we also get fuel and supplies. And an oilskin packet. Something valuable to someone. An unread log. An odd, flat little stab-bound book, bound with red ribbon. But the cover reads, Log of the Damned? See, it's blank. Or maybe it's damaged. Did some lost captain purchase it in the far bazaars of the Khanate? We now have one unread log. You have discovered a new island. The Isle of Cats. I believe this is where you can start smuggling red honey if you're particularly good. A scatter of yellow-lit honey dens and brightly painted alehouses. We're going to check the shops here. Okay, I would really like to get that hidden compartment if we're going to dabble in this, but let's see what else here. A scatter of yellow-lit honey dens and brightly painted alehouses. To the southeast rises the stone tower of Cavendish Abbey, its ramparts hung with crimson and gold banners. There are sailors from all over the Neath hauling cargo, dicing, and brawling good-naturedly on the docks. The air carries the sound of sea shanties sung with more enthusiasm than skill, and the smell of roses edged with brimstone. All right, first, port report. Though the Isle seems at present beyond the reach of the Admiralty's laws, that does not mean that the Admiralty lacks interest in their activities. Roses and Kings. You spend half a day observing the docks and note an astonishing number and variety of ships. Was that a connate trimaran nestled next to a vessel from the Iron Republic? The dockhands complain loudly that they have never been busier. The caddies talk ceaselessly and carelessly about smuggling and piracy, but even the most hardened sailors lower their voices when they mention the king. They go even quieter when they talk about the Rose Garden. You make careful notes. Perhaps the Admiralty will understand what they mean, even if you don't. And yeah, buying a shipment of red honey... Yeah, you need some reputation here before you can even try that. And yeah, this is one of the few places you can sell sunlight easily. But as you can see, this is the kind of veils that you need to function here for a lot of these challenges. We have a 35% success chance of that, even if we had sunlight to sell. A piratical welcome. Welcome to the Isle of Cats, the wide-eyed dockmaster says brightly. Would you like to bribe me not to write down your details in this nice official ledger? Sure. You hand over the coins and she tips you a sharp smile before waving you to the nearest alehouse. The entire process is straightforwardly corrupt and pleasingly efficient. The alehouse's sign is a tiger painted the color of rose petals. Someone has gone to great trouble and expense to gild the creature's eyes. They look out over the port, feral and unseeing. A caged hive of lamplighter bees hangs from the ceiling like a chandelier. A few sailors give you hard mouths, assessing looks, but most ignore your presence entirely. Significant tokens. The caddies all wear a pair of amber stones threaded around their necks or pinned to their collars. Clandestine doings, a whispered conversation, the clink of coins, an exchange of goods. Religious observances. Is that a crimson-veiled nun? But what sort of nun would be in a place like this? Or leave the alehouse? There must be more to the Isle of Cats than drunken sots and Z stories. And the game's warning us that we may not get to come back. Okay, the nun has my attention. A mellifluous sister, of course, she responds, performing a complicated negotiation between veil, thick glove, and glass of mushroom wine. You ask what one of those is, and she snorts. I'm glaring at you underneath this bloomin' veil. You act appropriately cowed, and the mellifluous sister thaws a little. We are beekeepers and honey harvesters. The caddies owe their prosperity to us, and the pirate king too. She slurps the last of the mushroom wine behind her veil, and the barkeep glides over to refill her glass, eyes respectfully downcast. Significant tokens. Cat's eyes, one of them says, for the Pirate King. As far as you can gather, the Pirate King's name is Leopold, and he controls all the trade on the island. Half of the caddies believe that he can take the form of a crimson tiger and creep into their dreams. The other half suspect, more prosaically, that he simply eats those who displease him. You turn your head as though you are admiring one of the moldering draperies hung from the wall. A vial flashes in the buyer's trembling hands. He uncorks it, pours a few drops of thick red liquid down his throat. The vial drops to the floor, and when you look back up, he is gone. You blink and look around. Nobody else seems in the least perturbed that a man disappeared from their midst. You pick up the fallen vial and examine the traces left inside. Sticky honey gleaming with redness, entirely unlike blood. The barkeep stops you before you reach the door and hands you a brooch set with 2 amber stones. He waits impassively until you pin it to your clothes. Everybody wears the cat's eyes here, he tells you, moving aside to let you pass. Just a friendly reminder that the Pirate King is watching. It seems that no place, then, is truly lawless. Cavendish Abbey. The crimson-clad mellifluous sisters patrol its ramparts and tend to their hives of lamplighter bees. The mellifluous sisters make their home in a richly appointed stone tower of Cavendish Abbey. Their thick gloves and crimson mesh helmets are worn less for modesty and more for practicality. They tend the hives of the lamplighter bees all across the isle and make a religious observance of harvesting red honey for the Pirate King. Your actions will attract the Pirate King's notice. You need 5 of his notice to gain an offer from a patron. So we could give fuel for the smokers. or recent news to the abbess. We're going to go with that. She's always interested in news from London. And we were apparently given stuff. We were actually given mushroom wine. Didn't we need to bring that to Venderbite? I'm trying to think if we needed 5 or 10. All right, we're going to dump some fuel. I think what's going to happen here is we're going to head up to Venderbite and see if 5 mushroom wine is what we needed with this. You recite your news to the abbess, your voice stuttering every now and then in the cool silence of her office. Her face is entirely obscured by her thick veil, and it is impossible to read her reactions. Nonetheless, you must have pleased her. She orders one of the novices to load your ship with casks of mushroom wine. The abbey overlooks the rose garden, so you make a point to linger at the windows. The roses bloom lush and wanton, each petal the color of sunset. A tall woman in a golden veil picks her way between the thorned bushes. All right, we might be able to just keep bringing recent news then. Although, we'll check out the Honeyed Tongue. It is both brothel and honey den, run by someone the caddies refer to as the King's Claw. Entering the brothel is like sliding into the dream of a surface orientalist. Jewel-embroidered cushions, bright silk drapes, gilded statues of elephants, sun bears, and clouded leopards. Silver censers release curling plumes of rose-scented smoke into the air. The courtesans are red-lipped and coal-smudged, and when you catch their eyes, they smile back at you with professional interest. Well, we'll ask what red honey is so that the game gives us an explanation. One of the nearby courtesans' eyebrows lifts infinitesimally, but his reply is practiced. When lamplighter bees suck the nectar of the crimson strain of exile's rose, they are driven to madness. They enter the brains of humans and harvest their memories. He shudders, as though imagining the process himself. Those memories are instilled in red honey. Each sip is a burst of memory on the tongue. Deliciously awful, isn't it? He flutters his dyed feather fan. Yeah, we're going to just keep bringing recent news from London, I think, as far as getting a patron eventually goes. Alright, we're going to stop at Port Carnelian. And I'm also going to try to see if there's a way to see how much mushroom wine we were supposed to be taking to that place. Again, one of the few things I really don't like about this game is this whole system of trying to figure out what the hiffle you were supposed to be doing. It just says bring wine to Venderbite. It doesn't say how much. I'm going to hope that it's 5. And if it's more than that, then I guess we're just going to buy whatever else we need. Yeah, screw it. If the game can put the frickin' objective there and then not tell me, I'm looking up how much we need. 10. It's 10. Okay. That's all I needed to know. We'll buy 5 more in London because I don't really want to have to go all the way back to London, get more recent news, come back here, and get more mushroom wine that way. Even though it means we get it for free and that's great, it means that's a lot of time with us running around with most of our hold taken, like a quarter of our hold taken up with mushroom wine. And I don't want to deal with that. So we're going to just buy the extra 5 that we need once we're in London, grab some more recent news while we're there, and then head up to Venderbite so we can just finally get that done, because it was one of the first things we promised to do and we still haven't done it. First, the hidden workshop. We can complete phase 2. You brandish the pilfered Zonar schematics. The engineers cheer. They set to work immediately. Your ship is docked at the workshop and concealed beneath a set of awnings. Beneath, hammers ring, drills whir, mechanics argue, reconcile, and improvise. From the outside, your ship looks largely unaltered, but inside, new pipes gleam. A satisfying lever stands by the helm, surrounded by an array of mysterious gauges and dials. This extends the shell hull, a weary engineer explains. Don't pull it until you're out at Z, eh? The fierce philanthropist offers you a sherry. We've done it, she says. To your new journeys, Captain, wherever they may lead. If you trade this ship for another, your chief engineer will automatically apply the submarine conversion process to your new vessel. Future captains can obtain a submarine conversion by returning to Port Carnelian. They will not have to repeat the quest. So let's do the Zubmariner tutorial so that we can look at this and then finally get this off of the screen. This tutorial branch will tell you how to make the most of your submarine. Once you've sailed away from a port, pressing the T key will allow you to dive or resurface. The transition will take a few seconds. Once underwater, your navigation bat will be replaced by a sonar system. This will give you hints of what's in the darkness around you. Pressing the Z key will toggle it on and off. You have a limited supply of oxygen while submerged. It will deplete while you travel underwater. If it hits 0, you will die and your game will end, as one would expect. Let's talk to one of the tigers in the Blue Bazaar. Their Canelian coast natives are eloquent, placid, and acerbic most of the time. The Blue Bazaar is Port Carnelian's great indoor market. Arched, lofty, plush, and with patterned carpets where the vendors display their wares, most of all awash with gossip. The tiger chats about the banded prince, their supposed monarch, and his palace deep in the jungle. You lever the conversation into the state of his people. He has no complaints, he says, not even about the recent reinstatement of the travel restriction on natives, not the report of a tiger killed at the jungle's edge. His tail flicks. Assist a specialized collector. A dapper gentleman lounges by a shoot of flowers, admiring butterflies with a predatory gleam in his eyes. Would you help him find the quarry of a lifetime? A man of pens and the jar. With a satisfied nod towards your ship, the incomparable Aurelian slips the butterfly into a killing jar. He explains as the vibrant orange wings beat against the glass. You've been beneath the waves, I see. Well, not yet, technically, but I can. And I trust you've seen the tyrant moths as well. Fine creatures, but nothing compared to the regal kin, the most moth. I know where to find it, and with your ship, we can see it hatch. He gazes down at the butterfly, now still. Take me down to the undercrow, and I'll show you something worth preserving forever. Okay. We're going to risk panning for sapphires again. I want to see what happens when this goes wrong. A native ambush. Perhaps ambush is a strong word, but there's a tiger sitting on a broad mushroom cap, asking unflattering questions about your nutritional value. You retreat, wisely. Hey, Tale of Terror for only one terror rose going up. I'm going to keep poking it.